Libra, Libra rising and Libra moon. This is your August 2016 forecast. Since the 22nd of July, the Sun has been in Leo in your 11th house, and it will stay there until the 23rd of August. This makes the predominant focus this month the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of friends, hopes and dreams, groups that we associate with, and ultimately our social connections and how we use those social connections to put ourselves out into the world, since nobody exists in a vacuum. So you'll be looking at the value of your associations in terms of groups, in terms of friends. What value do you get out of those interactions? And also you'll be looking at ways to find your authentic voice within group dynamics. How you express your individual identity within a group. As a whole, 11th house months are generally lively and fun. There's a lot of social connecting and, getting out there, having fun, so it can be quite light-hearted. Let's look at where the new moon and the full moon are in your chart this month. So the new moon this month is in Leo in your 11th house, again highlighting those 11th house concerns. So you'll want to shine within your group dynamic and within your friendship circles, and want to receive recognition for who you are and what you stand for. So because there's two trines between the Sun and the Moon with Saturn, this shows that you're very structured about how you're going about socially networking and connecting with friends. In fact, you're making it your business to do so. So you're working very hard to be connected, to be in the right groups and contexts, all as a stage for getting your ideas into the world. And because no one exists in a vacuum, it's how you relate to other people and the connections that you have that define who you are in the world and who you are in general. So Saturn can also show assistance from peers and also recognition for previous efforts. So this is something that may come to pass at this time. So, net connections that you've been working on building and maintaining are starting to pay off. And you may find that you receive assistance from older people or respected individuals in a very easy way. The full moon is in the 5th house in Aquarius. The 5th house is about passion, creativity. It can also be personal business projects because it's anything that you consider your personal baby. So a lot of inspiration around creative projects, fun activities generally speaking. So it will be a time where you feel a lot more creative. So the 11th and the 5th house, very social houses. So like I said, it's you in the context of the people in your immediate environment, the people that you consider friends, and groups that you associate with. So the full moon in the 5th has a sextile from the moon to Uranus in the 7th house and from the Sun in the 11th house to Uranus. So this Uranus in the 7th house can show that you're trying to make some kind of a breakthrough with one-on-one interactions that have perhaps become dull or boring or routine or just aren't fulfilling any longer. Trines and sextiles are easy aspects though, so it'll show that you may have some inspired ideas of how to make partnerships more satisfying, how to have more fun with your friends. You're not doing the same old thing. You think of new activities that you can do with friends that revitalize your connection with them. So like I said, if things have become dull and boring in your one-on-one interactions, you can have a bit more inspiration about how to freshen things up this month. And also, if you need to make changes and break from routine, this is the time to do it. It can also be very good for consulting if that's part of the work that you do. So you'll be feeling quite inspired in your communications in that capacity, or if you want to consult with a professional like a lawyer, a doctor, or even an astrologer, you may find that you have the incentive to do so at this time. The 1st of August kicks off with a lovely trine between Venus and Uranus from your 11th to 7th house. This can show creativity and inspiration around a romantic connection with a partner or a friend. So if you're not partnered up, perhaps a friend could show up as a romantic prospect, or If you are in a partnership, however, you may be feeling more warmth and attraction to your partner than normally. The Sun trines Saturn at the same time from the 11th to the 3rd houses, and this is good for getting things off the ground. So if you want to plan an outing with a friend, or perhaps consider going to a meeting or interacting, more passionately with a group, this can be very good for that sort of thing and getting things done. So you might actually make that meeting or plan an outing with a friend. So very optimistic for romantic ties with partners and communication generally, and for getting things off the ground. On the 2nd of August, the new moon in Leo, like I said, can show some recognition for hard work, and it does touch on how you structure your interactions with social groups and friends. So you'll be making it your business to hook up with friends, to interact with groups that you're involved with, and generally just establishing yourself within those contexts. Between the 5th and the 7th of August, Mercury squares Saturn from the 12th to your 3rd houses. This is a very good aspect for research and work that you're doing on your own. So you may be taking time out to consolidate your ideas around a project and keeping them to yourself for now. This can be a bit of a gloomy aspect, but you can overcome your kind of pessimistic attitude by working alone and getting absorbed in details, because Mercury and Saturn together are very good for concentration and focus. So like I said, a good aspect for research that you're undertaking on your own, or even just reflecting on an issue in private for a while. On the 4th of August, Mars will go into Sagittarius in your 3rd house. So Mars in Sagittarius can be quite restless, especially in the 3rd house. You'll be feeling more opinionated than usual, and possibly even argumentative and a little bit defiant. So you'll identify with your ideas very strongly at this time. So it can sometimes show up as conflict with siblings and family, and just tension in these areas, generally speaking. Of course, tension can often lead to us finding solutions to problems, so it's very good in that respect. And it's very good if you're a bit of a wallflower and you struggle to express your ideas. You'll be feeling a lot more passionate than usual about what you think. But just bear in mind that Mars is moving to conjunct Saturn, and will do so on the 24th of August. So you may experience some setbacks and delays and obstacles in this respect. But use this to go over those passionate opinions a little bit more carefully, so that you are sure about what you believe. So before you get rash and on your soapbox, you might want to just think about what you want to say, if you really feel that strongly about them, or if you're just feeling a little agitated. So go over your ideas carefully and consider what you really believe. So on the 6th of August, Venus will square Mars from your 12th to your 3rd house. This can show some friction and tension, especially with family or neighbors, and you may be suffering from feeling misunderstood, or perhaps that you feel like you're doing too much for family and you're unappreciated. So you may want to spend some time alone again, just to figure out if it's worth a fight, or if it can be resolved in a more amicable fashion. And on the 7th of August, Mercury opposes Neptune in your 6th house. Neptune has been in your 6th house for a while now, and can show possibly health problems or problems at work. Not necessarily, of course, but this particular aspect will show up as you feeling misunderstood by work colleagues. Perhaps they're misunderstanding what you say, and so there's a bit of mental confusion generally, and logic can take a bit of a hit. So like I said, you may feel like you're doing a bit too much in the context of a work environment, and that you're underappreciated. So while this aspect is ongoing, it's perhaps not a good idea to commit to anything, commit to a project or something that you're feeling unsure about. Wait for clarity to come, which does come with the next aspect. On the 10th of August, Mercury will trine Pluto. This is a great aspect for research, for focused thinking, for concentration. It's very good again for research because it helps you get to the bottom of things and to really penetrate the subject. So if you are doing research or are involved with an area of private study, this will be very good for developing those ideas. And with Pluto in your 4th house, it may have to do with a matter at home. So it may be communication within the home environment, with family, or insight into, how you structure your domestic affairs. Between the 12th and the 14th, Venus squares Saturn from the 12th to the 3rd house. And again, Saturn and Venus together can show you feeling, like you're withholding. You're not giving freely of love and of yourself. And often again, this can come from feeling that people are taking advantage of you. This is just the flavor of the moment, as it were, and it's something that you can best work out in private. So don't let the doom and gloom get to you. Like I said, this is a good aspect for just sitting quietly on your own and weathering the storm, or just the malcontent. On the 14th of August, Venus will oppose Neptune from the 12th to the 6th house. This particular aspect can show up as overindulgence. Perhaps you've eaten too many sweet things or possibly overindulged in alcohol. This can have you feeling a little bit unwell. It could also show up as mild food poisoning or just gastric upset, so you may not be feeling 100% at this time. On the 16th of August, the Sun will trine Uranus in the 7th house. This is a great aspect for a fresh take on personal relationships and interactions. So very good for reinvigorating partnerships and all your one-on-one interactions. This doesn't have to be a romantic partner, it can be a business partner or any significant one-on-one interaction. So you'll have some new ideas on how to invigorate that partnership or how to make it more interesting and exciting. On the 17th of August, Venus trines Pluto from the 12th to the 4th house. This aspect is good for artistic expression. It can show you bringing beauty into the home because Pluto is in your 4th house. So, you can beautify the home to make it more welcoming, or you can use it to resolve bad feelings with family. So very good for smoothing over ruffled edges and for refining your interactions, and in this case, particularly with family. On the 18th of August, the full moon is in Aquarius in your 5th house. This is the house of fun, creative projects, passion, risk-taking. It can also be the house of personal business, since it's anything, like I said, that you consider your baby or your project. So because of the sextile with Uranus and the moon and the trine with the sun and Uranus, you'll be feeling a lot of inspiration around a creative project potentially. New ideas on how to accomplish it, new ideas of how to share it with friends and even lovers, or perhaps even partnering up with someone to get a creative project off the ground. So a very fun and stimulating full moon for you. On the 22nd of August, Mercury conjuncts Jupiter. This is a good aspect for refining your ideas because you'll have a very broad understanding of an issue. So again, if you've been involved in research or a private study of some kind, you'll really have a handle on the subject at this time. You'll have a grasp of the details as well as of the big picture. So very comprehensive, and as such good for communication. And so if you want to communicate on a topic, you'll really be feeling quite eloquent. And on the 23rd of August, the Sun goes into Virgo and into your 12th house. The 12th house can be the house of isolation, and as a whole, generally speaking, 12th house Sun aspects show you taking time to yourself to recharge your batteries, And with the emphasis on the 11th and the 5th houses this month, it will have been a busy social time for you. So this is really when we start to pause and reflect the month before our birthday and just recharge our batteries and, think about how we want to do things differently. And like I said, just a time out in general. Even if it's just a bit more inward navel gazing than usual. So nothing to be alarmed about. Just like I said, more solitary reflection as it were. On the 24th of August, Mars will conjunct Saturn in your third. Like I said, this could have represented frustration and delays. You may have had difficulty getting your ideas out there, or, feel that people have abstracted your voice, generally speaking. And even in setbacks in day-to-day affairs, there can be a lot of stop-start, like people have described this aspect as driving with the brakes on. But this will free up once this conjunction passes. So like I said, hopefully you've used this time to really consider what you feel strongly about and what ideas you do identify with. And it's not just momentary rash behavior. So like I said, can be good for consolidating your ideas and opinions. Because you'll be feeling a lot more passionate about expressing them at this time, which can be a very good thing. So with Mars finally having moved out of its shadow zone, you'll feel like your day-to-day tempo is a lot more lively and inspired and not so full of stop-starts and, like a kind of splattering that just doesn't burst into flame. So your energies will definitely free up. Between the 26th and the 29th, Venus conjuncts Jupiter. This is a lovely aspect for artistic ideas and for general good feeling. Traditionally, it's a very good aspect for socializing and entertaining, and having a party. So when the two benefics conjunct, you'll always have, a very good feeling. And unfortunately, it doesn't last as long as it could, but like I said, this one does allow for a very pleasant mood and, the kind of atmosphere for a party. So if you want to entertain, this is a good time to do so. Between the 27th and the 30th, Mercury conjuncts Venus in the 12th house. Again, this is a good aspect, generally speaking, for easy communication, light-hearted communication, sentimental communication. So if you haven't been able to express words of love or sentimental feelings to someone and you need to, this is a good aspect for that. It's also one that has you feeling very persuasive, and it's good for negotiation. And again, like I said, if you've been doing research or private study, this one will help you refine your ideas and perhaps put them in a less serious light and, make you more passionate and engaged in your subject. So if studies have been a bit serious, this will lighten things up. Anyway, that's all for this month, and please tune in again next month. Thank you.